Hey guys, welcome back to the pod. My name's Bert. I'm with
His name's
Submission,
Bert.
and we're doing Pirates of the Caribbean again.
We are
This episode, it's at World's End.
what
before
many
we get into
consider the
that-
last good one.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, because especially I started watching the new movie, and I don't want to go too much into it, but I agree with that statement.
So I actually think that the fourth one is okay. It feels like a spin-off though, but we'll get to it when we get there. But like the fourth one's not terrible. The fifth
No,
one
but the third
is
one
terrible.
is actually, I think, a pretty good conclusion to the story that they were trying to tell.
Yeah, we'll get to it because there's some stuff I want to say. I will personally say, for me, the third one is the weakest of the trilogy, but I still think it's good.
Yeah, the second one's probably my favorite.
The second one is my favorite too. But we'll save it for when we get to that because we have other stuff first. So, two big, large news recently came out
I have
within the
one
last
thing.
week and a bit. I
have
hope
something
it's
that-
not mine because I want to say something, but go.
I have something about the PS5 Pro.
Yeah, I have that. We'll do that
Okay.
last. So I'll start with the smaller ones then. Black Ops, whatever number it is, 6 probably, recently came out. Or maybe it was like the early access thing or whatever. It's so funny. People are getting pissed because they have this thing where you can like grab people and take them hostage, and it lets you like do a prox chat into their ear while you're holding them as like a
pretty
whisper.
funny.
And people are just like ear destroying each other. They're like grabbing people and killing them in real life almost by just making incredibly loud noises.
Actual war tactics.
I just thought that was so funny. A lot of people are saying this is stupid, get rid of it. I don't know how it works exactly. I imagine you could just turn it off. Like if you're not in
That-
game chat or something.
Or I feel like
Because-
there has to be a way to set a max decibel thing.
But I think that's actually hilarious. I think that's a cool feature that would be really fun in custom games. Yeah, if it's not, toggleable, just make it toggleable and then doesn't matter,
If you don't want it to happen to you, just turn it off.
Yeah. But I think that's cool. I think that's a funny story, like how people are upset about getting yelled at.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Plus, imagine like getting killed over and over again by this dude, and you finally get to grab him and then just give him a piece of your mind.
Or then you get shot before you kill him. Oh my god. But yeah, that's funny. Another small one. So this year we have the Sonic 3 movie coming out, and we have what is known as Sonic X Shadow Generations. Now, what's weird about this though is that it's basically Sonic Generations again, but like an expansion for it. It seems like they're just adding shadow levels to it. So what I don't know, you probably don't know, but what Sonic Generations is, it came out in like 2011 or 12 or something. And they just grabbed like the most popular Sonic level from every Sonic game up to that point, remade it and put it in a
Okay.
collection. And
That's
now
pretty
they're adding
cool, though.
like a shadow section to that, which is kind of cool too, except for the fact that it's whole own games, so $60, and they've taken original Sonic Generations off of Steam now. So
That's kind of
kinda
messed
troll.
up.
Yeah, isn't it? That's like, why,
Money.
Yeah, I guess, but
Good thing I bought it.
Sonic Generations is, at least for the casual, like if you don't play Sonic games, I would say Sonic Generations is probably the best one to play. Like, it's the easiest to get into. I'm hoping that, Sonic X Shadow Generations is just as good. I mean, half the game will be just as good because it's exactly the same,
Yeah.
just for full price. Hopefully the amount of levels they add with Shadow make it worth buying again, though,
Yeah, hopefully it warrants a whole new game, essentially.
What I think they should have done is like the Skyrim thing that they do every like 2 years, like a special edition. You get a discount if you have the original, and it's like an upgrade to it. You know what I mean?
That's pretty smart. Yeah.
Like they had the Skyrim special edition and anniversary edition or whatever.
So you can pay, instead of paying $60, you can pay $30.
Yeah. But instead, you can't even buy the old one again. Now, I get how it could be kind of confusing, but I mean, that's on you for using half of an old game.
Yeah.
Something this is actually old news, but I just saw this like 2 days ago. Did you know Phineas and Ferb's coming back for 2 new seasons?
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, neither did I. I was like, what the... Phineas and Ferb was kind of sick, actually.
Wonder what they're going to be like. Are they going to be adults or are they going to be kids? Because the show ended with them adults, right?
Yeah, but I think that was like a flash forward. So, if it's supposed to be 2 more seasons, I imagine they'll just do it like another summer or something. Original creators and everything.
That's kind of hype.
Dan Povenmire, the classic. He's got like the funny, good, awesome shorts all the time, you know?
Yeah, I've actually followed him on TikTok.
Yeah, me too. So he's well, not on TikTok, but I follow him on YouTube, so I see the YouTube shorts. Yeah, I saw a thing where he's like, he was like, I just watched the first episode fully animated, and he was like, it made me cry. I can't believe it's happening again.
You gotta rewatch the show.
I mean, I was never like a huge Phineas and Ferb fan, but I always thought it was good. Like, it's funny, you know?
Yeah, I liked watching it when it was on.
Yeah, it was like
and
that
I remember
thing.
like dancing to the song when I was young.
It's definitely really funny. Like, the show's hilarious, I think.
Remember the rubber ball episode where they were like taking a rocket around the world?
Oh yeah. They wanted to get around the world in a day or some shit like that.
Beljeet's like family had like the giant rubber ball.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the most memorable part is Doofenshmirtz for everyone, I think.
That is a good
comedy, that guy.
Perry.
It's like the platypus repairman. Perry the platypus repairman when he puts a hat on.
Yeah. And then he takes off the plumber costume. Perry the platypus. And then the music hits.
Have you seen, this is like an old meme now, but there was a time where it got popular where like people would be like just putting colors together. They'd be like a regular Perry the platypus.
Like an orange, a teal, and a brown, I think. Or
and
a brown.
It got more and more obscure until it was just mumbling. It was like,
Yeah.
Those were funny too. And it's like they would just use the colors. It wouldn't even it would make no sense to, like, if you didn't see Phineas and Ferb, you would have no idea what's going on.
The memes got more and more abstract.
That's probably one of my favorite like nonsensical memes.
I agree.
Next thing. I don't have much specifics on this, but they've confirmed that a Hogwarts Legacy 2 is going to come eventually.
Hell yeah. Can't wait to forget about it and get reminded. Be like, can't wait for this to come out.
Yeah, probably in like 5 years. And then it'll lose and get no awards or even nominated again.
Just be forgotten.
Even though it was definitely not Game of the Year because it came out with like Baldur's Gate and Spider-Man and something else probably.
A nomination.
Yeah, a nomination, I agree. It should have got.
I thought the game was good.
I do think it should have got a nomination, but I didn't think, like, it had no chance of winning Game of the Year, but it could have won other things. You know?
No, absolutely.
Okay, now for the 2 big ones. Now, I'll leave you the most of the PlayStation one, because you seem to want to talk about that. But gaming records were broken recently. I'm sure you've heard
where this is going.
of Concord.
Oh, yeah.
this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. So Concord, okay, are you ready for this? In development for 8 years, published by Sony. So they have that Sony money behind them. 8 years, $200 to $300 million spent, and they shut it down after 9 days.
What was the peak player count? Not even 300?
120.
Yeah.
So
imagine.
Well, that was the peak player count. I think the purchase was like 600 or 900 or something. Purchases not even 1,000, I don't think.
No, I think it was like 25,000 units sold.
Maybe you might be right on that. The point is, this game came out, people bought it, and then a week and 2 days later, they said no one can play this anymore, get fucked. I mean, they are refunding everyone, which reasonable. It was 9 days.
They would get sued if they didn't.
Yeah, but this is now considered the biggest failure in gaming ever. Like, imagine dropping 8 years, 300 million, and your game lasts 9 days before you just... What's crazy about it, too, is, like, everyone was expecting it to go free to play. They'd be like, oh, well, we got to get something, you know? But no, they just full shut it down. Delisted. Concord is now the biggest failure in gaming. And what's crazy is, like, over the last year or something, Sony had, like, they said something like we have, like, over 10 live service games, and we had to cut the ones that are low quality. This is one that made it through.
Imagine what else they had. Imagine what got cut. If they were like, this is quality.
This and Skull and Bones made it through. I believe they have a couple more, 2 or 3 more coming.
They are not cooking.
They really are not cooking, but...
You should pull them away from the kitchen, honestly.
That's crazy. And Sony, not like, since the 360 probably, has been the king of first-party games and exclusives.
Yeah, that was like the strongest reason to buy a PlayStation over an Xbox. At least I thought.
Yeah, and I would say they still have some good ones. I mean, like Spider-Man's still good. Recently, God of War recently, big thing that came out recently that is very popular, Astro Bot. People are loving that. I have no idea what it is. I really want to play it, and I thought about it, but I just don't want to set up the PlayStation again. Like if it was on PC, I'd play it. It's a platformer, you know. People are saying it's like the best platformer since Mario Odyssey.
Maybe I should look into it then.
It looks super sick.
I'm about to pull the trigger on Warhammer 2040, the new one that just released.
The Space Marines one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the people are saying that's going to be the Helldivers killer.
Yeah, I have a friend that has been hounding me to buy it, so I'm thinking about doing it.
I also was thinking about buying it because same thing, like Helldivers has been having a lot of controversy too, basically.
Yeah, with their nerfing and stuff with every weapon, isn't right?
Well, what happens is they'll add challenges, like or like war things. I don't know what they're called. I haven't played it in a while. Yeah, those things. It will be like kill between the community. Kill. I don't know the number. Random number. I'm saying here. Kill 5 million Terminids with the flamethrower. Then they nerf the flamethrower the same day they put that in.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently they've done that a few times. But main thing is Astrobot looks cool. I would play it if it was on something other than PlayStation. Not that I have a problem with PlayStation, it's just I would rather play on PC. I mean, I even have a PlayStation. I don't know. Because it's like, it looks like one of those games that I would want to 100%, but I don't care about getting achievements on a PlayStation account that I use once every 3 years. I would rather do that on like my accounts that I care about, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a chance it could come to PC in a couple years, like a lot of Sony games do these days. But, yeah, Concord really got bodied. That's crazy.
Do you know what game
lasts 9 days? That's insane.
It is so... it's so insanely short.
Like that sucks. Like, imagine if you... Apparently, it's actually, like, all right. It's just super mid and like
Expensive.
it's just a bunch of those exist. You know, it's Overwatch, it's Marvel Rivals. Like, why would someone play one that isn't?
And all the other ones are free to play.
That's another thing, yeah. And like, I didn't think this game was gonna do good, right? I thought Marvel Rivals would be more popular. I knew Overwatch would be more popular. But I really didn't think that they'd cap out at under 300 players and shut down after 9 days. I thought maybe they'd be under 1,000 players and go free to play in a couple months is kind of where I was thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought they would try to salvage something out of it, but they were just like, nope, we're done.
9 days.
It's probably because there was probably so little people. They were probably thinking there's no way we're going to be able to salvage this. And even if they were, between fixing it, like in the meantime trying to run the servers and pay the electricity and whatever, they probably were just like, they just ain't worth it.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like to spend 8 years, 2 to 300 million, and then give up after 9 days. You know,
I just feel bad for the people that worked on the game and spent the time. Especially because you know, in a lot of situations like that, it's just people being told what to do. Like,
well, that's the thing. Like, even the people that played it, they're like, yeah, I mean, it plays fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just generic as hell. You know, like, it's not like it was broken or trash. It just, a million of those exist, and this was nothing special.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, they just chose a wrong, like, bad idea, you know?
Yeah. This one did not hit.
That's tough for them. The big news. This was today, I think, that this happened.
Yeah, I think it's very recent.
It's either today or yesterday.
But speaking of Sony and PlayStation and making good decisions, they announced the PlayStation 5 Pro. And along with it, they
another record broken in gaming.
Yeah, but they showed minor, and I mean super minor, graphical improvements between the PS5 and the PS5 Pro. But they announced that the price starting is $700. And
that doesn't include a stand or a disc tray.
Or a disc tray.
So to get the full thing,
so then if you want
like
the disc tray, it's $800 for the disc tray and the plastic stand. Which I find like, what?
Yeah, like at that point, you saved up $800, save for another 6 months and get a PC, you know? Like, you're already more than halfway, you know? $1,500, you can get a good mid-tier PC.
Maybe they're trying to remake the money from Concord.
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing, right? This has happened before. So maybe this is a good thing. Because back in the day, PlayStation ruled just like it did before. Just like it does now, or did a year ago. PlayStation was on top, PS1, fire, PS2, fire. Then the PlayStation 3 comes out, and the Xbox 360 comes out. The PlayStation 3 was like $200 more expensive than the Xbox 360, and then the 360 dominated that generation. That was like their come up with Xbox. Like the original Xbox did all right, but the 360 destroyed the PS3.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, for the most part, probably a little bit Halo as well, but the pricing, a $200 difference.
Yeah, even though, like, if you know nothing about any video game, just the cheaper one's the more appealing one.
And what's really troll about it is, like, if you watched the thing, I don't know if you did, like, they didn't even show any, like, high level games. Like, they showed The Last of Us 1 from 2014. That game's like 10 years old almost. Like, why, if you're trying to show me how your new console is the peak of graphics, why are you showing me a 10-year-old game? Right?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that crazy?
It is. I mean, like, they did show a difference, and there was better FPS, but for the price increase, it's just not worth it. Like,
not only that,
I don't
but
know.
those improvements are only going to exist on PlayStation first party games for the next probably year or two until everyone else actually does it as well, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like all your old games that aren't PlayStation owned, it's not going to make a difference besides frame rate. It's not going to look any different though, you know?
Yeah. And
Because
even then, a lot
they
of
were just
games
made
natively run 60.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, here's something I do agree with. And it's funny that they said this in the freaking trailer because they've said the opposite on all of their other games. And this is just something that I think is ridiculous. Like 30 FPS should not happen anymore. Like we're way past that. I don't know why games come out that
I think
are locked at 30. That's ridiculous.
I honestly think 45 is like I should be the minimum.
I think 45 is the minimum for a non-AAA game. For a AAA game, it should be 60. There should be no
especially
excuse.
for the price. Yeah,
Like, it's crazy. It's
Well,
just
it's because
ridiculous.
they try to push the graphics to their absolute limits versus being like, maybe we should just work on focus on making a game that can run good.
It's I don't know. It's definitely insane. Like, I just don't think I should be playing a 30 FPS game when, like, the big thing about Xbox One and PS4 was games are in 60 now. Now we're almost 2 generations past that. We're 10 years later. And somehow most games, not
They're
most,
selling it
but
to us again.
I would say at least half of them are still 30. What's going on? And on the Xbox side, I can see the excuse. I think it's stupid, but their reason is because they are troll and require developers to make it work on the Xbox One still, which is stupid. That's why you're getting 30 FPS games on Xbox, but like PlayStation, why? You know?
Mm-hmm. Do they really have support for the Xbox One still?
A lot of games, yeah.
Wow.
That was, I believe, what game was it? I feel like it was Halo. No, it wasn't Halo. There was some game recently that came out that got bodied by needing to work on Xbox One. And then, of course, they had even the ones that aren't, they have the Series S, whatever it is, like the lower, shittier one. That one is, I think, everyone. They all have to work on that. Where the Xbox One, I think it might just be first party games, but any Xbox game has to work on the Series S.
Interesting.
So they get bodied there. But then PlayStation does this, and now, the Series S looks pretty good. A $300 console. It runs every Xbox game. Or a $700 PlayStation. And I can play Concord. Oh, I can't, actually.
Damn.
A little bit crazy. Yeah, I think 700, that's super expensive for a console, but I do think that's like right on the border of people are probably still going to buy that and it won't be a problem, and eventually Xbox will be up there too now that people are going to start getting used to it.
I don't know. How much is the PS5 normally? 600?
I think it's 5 for no disc tray, 6 for disc tray.
So it's like a $200 increase for the Pro versions, respectively. I don't know. Maybe if you don't have a PlayStation.
I take it back. PlayStation 5 digital is $450, and then the one with the disc tray is $500.
So it's a $300 increase.
Yes,
that is
the disc tray.
insane.
5, 6, 7, 8. Yes.
I don't know. I really like. I
don't think it released at this price though. That's it now.
Okay, but Which, okay. Let's say if I'm buying a console, right? And I'm like, oh, let me look at the video for the PS5 versus for the PS5 Pro. I'm going to be thinking, damn, for $300, I could for basically $300, I could pay for nothing because there's no visible difference between the PS5 and the PS5 Pro. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, like the way I see it is the way I see phones or the way I see graphics cards.
People will just go buy the best one.
Well, I don't need to buy every generation. Like I had a what did I have? I had a 1080 and I didn't buy a 20 series card and I bought a 3080. You know? My 1080 was good for a long time. That's why I'm saying if you want to get a PlayStation, get a PS5, and when you upgrade, wait for the PS6, you know?
Yeah, if you have a PlayStation or PS5 now, there's no sense in buying the Pro.
Yeah, and if you don't just buy the
normal
PS5.
ones.
Yeah.
It's cheaper, and there's no difference.
And
there's no real difference.
Not only that, but I would say, in my mind at least, I would think we're halfway or more of this console generation. So it's $700-800. It's been 4 years. 4 years. You think the console generation is going to last longer than 8 years?
When is GTA 6 coming out next year?
Yeah.
The
PS5 came out in 2020. It's almost been 5 years.
Damn, I kind of forgot.
That's because no one could get it for 2 years, and that's probably going to happen with these too. But like the Xbox One was 2014, I think. So that was 6 years that generation lasted.
Yeah, so maybe
I would say 6 to 8 is like the average console generation. We're halfway or more.
You think they'll announce a new console generation with the new GTA or no?
No way.
Probably the next one.
Yeah, but like that would suck to spend
Not the next one, never.
$800 on a console, and then 2 or 3 years later the PS6 comes out. You know?
Yeah. I think it's dumb if people buy it, because then, like, especially because if people buy it, then they think they can get away with it, and they will like keep charging as much as they can because they can.
And the thing that sucks is that there's like two big selling points of consoles. It's that no matter what people say, I'm a PC guy. I like playing on PC more. But no matter what people say, consoles for like part to part are cheaper than a PC. Now, overall cost, your PC ends up being cheaper because you don't have to upgrade as often. Games are cheaper. You don't have to pay for Xbox Live or PSN or whatever other thing they have on there. But
you can get more deals.
Yeah, but like to build an equivalent PC to the PlayStation 5 Pro would probably cost you closer to $1,500 or $1,600, not $800. But that's like the benefit of a console, right? Like it's cheaper. Entry point. You end up paying more, at least.
But when you start closing that gap,
yeah, like,
and then you have the versatility of a computer.
Yeah, when you get the closer you get to the price of a computer, you're now over halfway there. It's like that only leaves the one benefit of console, which is they are generally easier to just press the power button and click on a game. You know, it's a little bit simpler.
Mm-hmm.
But like you're killing one of the big things.
Things tend just to work on console.
Yeah. So it's like for me, like maybe if it was the PS6, I would be like, that sucks. But you know, people are you kind of have to do it. You know, it sucks, but that makes more sense because at least you're paying $700-800. You'll have it for 6 to 8 years instead of 2 to 3, you know?
Yeah, but even the like, I would be kind of annoyed if they were trying to market this as a PS6 because It's
No,
just,
I know.
there is
I
no-
don't mean exactly this be the PS6. I'm saying if that price increase came on the PS6 instead of this.
You could probably stomach it a bit easier.
Just for the fact that, like I said, I just don't like. I feel like the PS6 cannot be more than 4 years away. So, like, to spend $800 now, it's like,
Yeah, you're just kind of burning money.
especially when, like, by the time games that can take advantage of this come out, will be 1 or 2 years away from the PS6. You know, because anything in development now will not take advantage of this. Besides first party PlayStation stuff, which a lot of the big ones came out last year, so it'll be a while until those come out. You know, Spider-Man's not coming anytime soon. Another God of War isn't coming anytime soon.
Yeah, there's not a lot of time.
You're going to get like one more, I think, big push of like the big deal games on this generation, you know?
Yeah.
And that's it. And I think you'll be fine probably with the PS5.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's any reason to get the Pro.
And it's not even a slim, you know? It's not like with the Xbox 360 where they shrunk it down to like 50% the size. Like, it's the same thing.
That would probably sell in more niche cases than if it was bigger. Because at least something like, you know, if space was a factor, some people might be more willing to buy a PS5
you
Pro.
think you just put as many pluses as you can. It's like, it's better, it's smaller. It's like, okay, well, at least there's a couple things. Maybe it looks different, like the Xboxes. Remember, they went to black. They had the little touch thing instead
Maybe
of
bump
physical
the
buttons.
base storage.
Yeah.
Or include a disc tray by default since it's the Pro.
Mm-hmm.
But no.
It's unfortunate because what's probably... Well, I mean, we have a chance of this one just going under the radar and no one actually caring because it's like a mid-generation refresh. You know, it's like... There was an Xbox Series X Pro too, but I think it was like $100 more, or it might have even been the same price as the original price of the Series X before it went down.
It made more sense.
Either way, like, I think bump it 100 is reasonable, I guess, for a Pro. Bumping it 300 is a bit crazy. There is the Switch costs $300, you know?
Yeah. You can buy a PS5 and a Switch for the same price as a PS5 Pro.
I think this could be the thing, though, that whenever Nintendo's new console is announced, they're going to kill it because they're always cheaper. So I don't see theirs being more than $400, maybe $500 at best, but like that's still the cheapest option.
Mm-hmm.
And they also desperately need a new console, so I imagine theirs is coming soon.
Dude, I'd be surprised if theirs doesn't come this year or next year.
Not this year. It would have been announced if it was this year.
Yeah, that's true. Dude, what do they hit us with the... like in like next month, they're like, guys, surprise.
What
There's a
sucks,
console
though,
coming out.
and I think it's just going to happen for... I don't see how this can be fixed. Like, when that comes out, you're not going to be able to get it for a year or two. Same thing as the PlayStation, the Xboxes, the graphics cards. Happens with everything these days.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, that's the big news. Basically, PlayStation had the biggest flop in gaming history, and they also decided to raise the price of consoles by $300, which is almost a 50% increase. Actually, it is a 50% increase because it was $600, wasn't it? No, it was $500. That's over a 50% increase because it went from $500 increased to $800.
Just catching W after W.
And then apparently Helldivers is also bodying itself. They did profit with Astrobot, though, so...
I guess at least they had one good thing happen to them.
Yeah, bad week for them, but one good game. Anyways, that's all I got for news. We can move on to the next stage. The movie.
Yeah.
Here is the thing. Maybe or maybe not. I don't know. But I think they might have been able to stretch this movie into 2. Because I feel like the beginning, that stuff, up until like getting Jack, could have been a movie.
Yeah, honestly, it could have. It felt like the movie.
And like there was some stuff at the beginning I feel like we kind of glossed past, like quickly. That could have been expanded on more.
Yeah, they kind of introduced the pirate council and the other, like the Chinese pirate, pretty quickly.
Yeah,
or the North Sea. Is that what he was?
I knew until you said that, and now I forgot. I'll probably remember. But I mean, this movie is huge on expanding the world. I feel like they do a lot of world building in this movie.
They do.
I think for me, this one is the weakest of the original trilogy. Mostly because it feels, for the first half, less piratey than the other two. The back half and the last like hour of the movie is insane, though.
Yeah.
What I saw this funny thing that I was looking at the other day. Someone was like, "You guys know that Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest and At World's End was Infinity War and Endgame before it happened? Like, it literally was the exact same thing."
I was just about to make a comment saying I felt like that was their attempt.
Except
that was their version.
Yeah, they just didn't force you to watch individual movies for every single character. They expertly worked it together in Dead Man's Chest. Because Dead Man's Chest really is like 4 different characters' stories, but they've like weaved it to work together instead of having to make individual movies like the Marvel way. And then Dead Man's Chest... What?
It's because they do a good job in the past movies at like doing their own separate stories but making them intertwined.
Yeah.
But somehow leaving them all open for the next movie.
Yeah. And Dead Man's Chest even has the same freaking infinity, like the good guys, the main characters lose at the end of Dead Man's Chest. At World's End is about undoing the loss.
Yeah.
And then it ends with a massive 40-minute crazy battle with literally every character.
Yeah, at the end of the second movie, you see Jack die, and you're like, "Oh my god, how are we gonna get him back, my man?"
I also really liked how they took their time getting him back. Like they spend like an hour until he's back.
Yeah, it was like that's why it could have been its whole movie.
Yeah,
because there was like they went on a whole adventure just to find him.
If something like that, this series happened today, they'd probably pull that shit out into a TV show that you're forced to watch.
6 episodes, an hour each.
Yep. Just to get Jack back, and he's only in the after credit scene.
So he doesn't even have a line. He just looks at the camera.
But man, I do really like this movie. I think it's weaker than the other ones just for the fact that it feels like there might be too much going on. And there's already a lot going on in Dead Man's Chest. Like, I like everything with Will. I like everything with Elizabeth. I like everything with Barbossa. I like everything with Jack. I like everything with Davy Jones. I even like everything with Beckett. And I even like everything with, what's his name? Damn it, I can't believe I forgot.
Merchant guy?
The guy from the first movie that was going to marry her.
Cutler? No.
What'd you say?
Cutler.
No. Well, the point is the main characters I like everything about them. I like everything that's going on. And I feel like even like the people that like aren't necessarily like the more main characters like Beckett which is the guy that how do I explain him? He's like the main English guy, you know, that's controlling Davy Jones. I actually like him too, you know. Damn, I wish
He's
I could.
like the manipulator.
Yeah, I wish I could remember the name of the guy that is engaged to Elizabeth in the first movie, because he actually has a crazy arc.
I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah, you do that. Man, but this movie, I feel like, wraps up
James Norrington.
Norrington, yes. Norrington is super cool too. But here's the thing, right? I feel like Jack Sparrow has a great wrap up of his story, which is fine. But the like main thing that I think like perfectly wrapped up stories, Elizabeth and Will, separate from each other, like obviously together too, but their individual stories I feel like are wrapped up so amazingly, with her always being interested in pirates and then becoming the king of pirates by the end of it. Of the trilogy is insane, and him never wanting to be a pirate and becoming like the leader of the underworld basically.
That is pretty funny.
Like,
and then like even her
crazy.
dad, I think, made a comment about her being a pirate. Like, I'd rather be dead than see you as a pirate. And then you never
like
had to see her as a pirate.
Yeah. I'm also a huge fan. Like, that shit was sad when her dad died, and like the way they show it, like how she sees him there.
Honestly, it was kind of nice because right before, it was nice in a weird way, because when she was calling out, they were like, he won't hear her. And then sure as shit, he heard her.
It was just like, it was pretty intense, I felt like, too. Like, everyone's reaction to being like, ooh, that's not good that he's here. And her just being in denial, you know? Like, it's like, damn. The one thing I don't like...
At least she got to say goodbye.
Yeah, that's true. One thing I don't like, just as a general plot, I actually liked all of it until the end. I felt like the like Davy Jones and Calypso thing was pretty good until like the end. It just looked weird the way they like. I didn't mind her like making the massive storm, but just the way she like grew massive was kind of weird. They should have just been like, I don't know, disappear or something, you know?
Yeah, it was kind of goofy. That was like the one time the CGI looked weird. However, when Davy Jones was killing that one dude with his tentacles.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was such a cool kill.
Something keep going.
I don't know, just think about like the body horror of it was just fascinating to me. That was it.
Yeah, that's true. The thing that I'm like thinking about that I think is the case with all these movies up to this point, I haven't seen. Well, I've seen them before, the later ones, but I'd have to see them again to know for sure. I love how these movies are like it's like everyone has their own thing that they're trying to do, you know? It's not like this is one team, this is the good guy team and that's the bad guy team, you know?
Yeah. Everyone has their own goals, and they are willing to sabotage other main characters to achieve their own personal goals.
Yeah, you really spent, like, the movie has so many, all of them, honestly, have so many moments where you're like, holy shit, I can't believe that, like, can't believe he just did that, or they just did that, whoever it is, you know?
Yeah, like when, in the second movie, when Elizabeth, right, that her name?
Yeah.
Like, killed Jack. Pretty much. Like, that is pretty like a wow moment.
Yeah, that was definitely a wow moment. Or like, just there's a lot of moments like that, honestly, where you're like thinking, what's the plan
or when
here,
Norrington,
you know?
freed Elizabeth.
That was cool. He has a good arc too, where he goes from like the bad guy in the first one to by the end of the first one, he's like, I'll let him get away for now, but then I'll go after him again, to like a failure in the second one, to redeeming himself at the end of the second one, to realizing he made a mistake in the third one, to saving them in the middle of it. Crazy stuff. They're just good. I like it. What's your favorite part of this one?
There's a couple. I like I like when they call parlay. Just the way when Jack says it. I just like the reference to I like the series long jokes.
I like how, I don't know if you noticed, at the end when Will gets stabbed, he is killed with the sword he makes in the first movie.
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, that's the one he gives to the, like, what's his name, the dad of the girl for Norrington, and then ends up looping all the way back around.
Damn, that's kind of embarrassing to get killed by. Isn't that like a bad thing to get killed by your own weapon?
I mean, he didn't die.
That is true.
Or maybe he died and came back. I don't know if he died yet.
Semantics at that point.
Yeah. And like Jack doing that too at the end, I think is so cool. Like
that, but that's like one of those things that people like. I get it's kind of in the character, but not in character. You know?
What do you mean?
Where it's in character in the sense where I feel like Jack has always cared about Will. And he's always cared about like his quote unquote friends or his crew.
Yeah.
But he also very rarely will take the selfless road and give up like his treasure.
I don't think it was fully selfish though, or selfish or selfless, because well, yes, he is thinking about it. I don't think he, like, at that point had 100% decided whether or not he wanted to commit to that. Otherwise, he would have just instantly stabbed it before Will was hit, you know? True. So he might have been like, well, this is an excuse to get out of it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Better him than me.
Yeah. And it
especially
honestly,
because maybe like, he was just doing it because can't have Davy Jones anymore.
Yeah, and honestly though, like the movie has like a very like not even it's like good but sad still.
It's bittersweet.
Yeah, it's like damn, my man really is now locked down to 10 years one day forever. The one guy who didn't want this more than anyone.
Yeah.
Really unfortunate. It is cool how his dad stays with him, though.
That's the one good thing. And they even kind of referenced how Will's adventure to save his dad will end up causing like issues with his relationship. And sure as can be.
That is true.
He can only see his wife every 10 years.
One day every 10 years. That's brutal. And not only that, but then eventually she'll die and he won't, and then he'll just keep going on for eternity.
But couldn't she at that point, like also, couldn't she just go on his boat at night and like, or go out in the ocean and just hang out with him there?
Well, the only
rules
reason
only say he can't dock.
Yeah, well, the reason that could happen with Davy Jones is because Davy Jones didn't actually do the job. Whereas Will actually does the job. So he's not in the normal world. He's in, like, the dead world.
Oh, yeah, and she can't be there because she's still alive.
He would have to die, yeah. Where if he didn't do the job...
Can ride with him.
Yeah, when she's dead, I guess, probably. But, like... Because at least the way they explain it is you become, you know, some sea monster guy if you don't do the job. And he is doing the job, apparently. That's why he can't come back. Which I guess makes sense. Shitty job, though.
It is.
The last hour of this movie cooks so hard, though. Like, that's, like, gotta be one of the longest continuous action scenes, you know? Like, that final battle is long.
Yeah, I'm remembering it. It is a very long one. Wow.
It goes on for like 30, 40 minutes. And it's badass, like with the freaking like ocean storm crazy with the two ships going around each other.
And how they like navigate the typhoon.
Yeah.
Or whatever, the whirlpool.
Mm-hmm. I also love Barbosa in this movie. I feel like he is so good. He honestly,
he
for
is.
me, is my second favorite character after Jack.
Barbosa is just an actual good captain.
Yeah,
Like,
I think.
I hate to say it, but he is.
Mm-hmm. And as unfortunate as it is, I think that like since they're already confirmed to go forward with making more movies without Jack, like I think Barbosa is probably their best bet. But have you seen the other ones? The other two?
Yeah. I started the fourth one, but I didn't get very far.
Well, it would be pretty weird to like work him back into it. It just like kind of doesn't make sense. So I'm not sure how maybe Will is like the new main guy. I don't know. I'm not sure how they're gonna continue. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll just replace everyone.
Maybe they just do a soft reboot. It would be cool, honestly, to do like some of Jack's dad.
Yeah, he seems like he was a badass at some point.
Like, he seems like he has his own stories to tell.
Yeah, there are some. I'm just thinking of this movie really does have like those hype endgame moments, even though I feel like the first half is weaker. Like, there's some moments that are so goddamn hype. Like when they're walking on that beach, the three from each side, and it's like way zoomed out. That's so hype, you know?
It is.
It's like, damn, I can't believe it's happening.
And then seeing the Black Pearl and the Dutchman flight.
Yeah, right?
That was another good one.
That is a really good one. I also, this is a smaller moment. I loved the part where they went to save Jack, and he's like, you wanted this, you wanted that, you wanted this. Did anyone come? Because they missed me. And then like his crew is like, yeah, us. And I'm like, hell yeah.
I'm going to stand with these guys.
I liked that. That was good.
Yeah, I kind of feel for Jack, though. No one really cared about him.
Gibbs
did. Gibbs and his crew.
And also, like, those guys that were, like, Barbosa's guys seem to care about him now.
Mm-hmm.
And also, what I thought was hilarious, the guys from the dock in the first movie become pirates at the end.
Yeah. They had to do what they must to survive.
Yeah, and another great thing that I just thought was, like, obviously it's meant to be a joke, but I thought it was a great callback. Making that guy's eye one of the pieces I thought was so good.
That was good.
Because it like makes it less silly now that he's always chasing his eye in these intense moments. It's like, dude. But now it's like,
that's why it's so important.
Yeah. But also, you would think Barbosa, after seeing him lose his eyes so many times, would be like, give it back.
Yeah, well, I mean, he went that long without losing it.
Yeah, I guess so.
And he would like actively, I mean, it would probably be kind of hard though to like keep track of an eye that would that easily fall out of your head.
Yeah. And I guess
especially when you're fighting.
That's a good point. I'm trying to think of other things I liked. The Kraken scene between Jack and Barbosa is probably one of the best scenes of the movie.
Yeah, seeing the Kraken dead was kind of sad.
Yeah, it's like the death of the age of pirates is really what the movie's about, and it's like sad almost.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, though, I like it. I don't love it like the last two, but I like it.
I did enjoy it.
Where would you toss it into?
7.5.
What did you give the other ones? Both the same. I remember that. I gave the other two 9s, and I think I would give this one a 7. Still good, but the other two are like nearly perfect movies, whereas this one, it's a little bit more like, I feel like a lot of the pirate lord stuff I don't really care about that much, or at least not enough to, like, I feel like we spend too much time on it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But
there is like that whole conference thing, and then we get the actually one thing I did like was seeing their base. That was kind of cool.
I liked that.
Just a bunch of ships stacked on each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I did like that. For me, it's like the Singapore stuff. That's where the guy's from. I remembered at the beginning is like whatever. And then the Pirate Lord stuff is kind of like whatever too. But that last battle is like one of the, probably actually the best in the whole series. Like that stuff's so good.
Yeah.
And actually, I know at the time this movie came out, it was the most expensive movie ever made. These days, that's probably some Marvel movie. I don't know, or maybe Avatar. But when this came out, it was the most expensive movie ever made.
I can see why.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a long movie.
They fully built the Black Pearl and Dutchman ships for this movie.
That would be such a cool thing to see in real life.
Yeah.
I'm sure they don't exist anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they probably didn't move or anything. It was just like...
Still, just to see it would be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. But yes, still good. Not amazing like the last two, but a really good movie. A decent conclusion. I think it wraps up the main characters perfectly. And it's almost a shame that it continues from here because it really could have been like perfect. Oh, nearly perfect. Like, I feel like this is one of those series though, like, I guess because it kept going on is why. Like, I feel like this trilogy should be considered in, like, when people are like, oh, what are the top trilogies? Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Back to the Future. Like, I feel like the Pirates trilogy should be in there.
Yeah, these three movies, especially the way the third one ends, really does feel like they want, like, this is their end of their stories.
Mm-hmm. Just, like, the connections between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. It was all done very well.
Yeah, I feel like... And everyone's always like, yeah, the Pirates movies, those are good. But I guess it must be because there's so many of them now. There's only 5, but, like... it's clear that the first one was meant to be on its own, but it's clear after that was successful, it was meant to be a trilogy, and then they just kept going because Disney, probably.
Mm-hmm. Like the last 2 kind of ruined the perception of the first 3.
Yeah, I think so. Because I really do think this is one of the top... It's got to be one of the top 10 trilogies in movies, at least that I've seen. I would definitely put it up there.
I would probably too.
So, that's it. I think we got everything pretty locked down here. Good movies. Watch these 3 and then probably stop, but we'll tell you for sure next week if you should watch one more. In my mind, I remember the next one being watchable and decent. Just didn't... It felt like very separate, you know, like a one-off kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the 5th one being bad. Like, literally bad. So we'll see. Buy a PS5 Pro? ?
No, don't.
Oh, okay. Play Concord?
Can't. They took it off.
Well, that's rough. Anything from you, Bert, before we wrap up here?
No.
Playing any games recently?
No.
Well,
no, I haven't.
Bert doesn't do anything. Say the thing, Bert.
I already said it, but I'll say it again. Keep it salty.